Yeah, all right. So it is recording now, and we have just started. We just started with the definition of superfoods as to why are they called as superfoods. And we were saying that all foods give us the nutrients in terms of macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are your carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and energy. And micronutrients are vitamins, minerals, and the other substances that we get. Superfoods are called so because they give us these nutrients plus some additional bioactive components which go beyond the scope of just giving these nutrients. They confer some medicinal benefit on in the body of the person who's consuming them, and that is why they are called as superfoods. As I said, it is not a scientifically coined term. It is just based on the popularity of these foods and the beneficial effects that they offer you. They are called as superfoods. The scientific term is functional foods. So if you kind of open a nutrition textbook and want to search superfoods, you may come across terms such as functional foods. So they are called as functional foods, to be precise, right? So that's about the definition of superfoods and why are they called so. Now, we take care of our health. We make sure that we include all the necessary nutrients in our diet. Why do we need superfoods in our diet? What is the indication that one needs to include superfoods in the diet? So there are some common symptoms, you can say, certain signs that your body gives you. If you're experiencing one or all of them, probably that's an indication that your body is devoid of certain nutrients and you need those nutrients in your diet by addition of superfoods. So what are those indications? What are those signs or the symptoms that your body gives you? If you're drained of your energy by the end of the day, right? Even though you have a sedentary lifestyle, you're not someone who's actively, working or working out or working very hard and very, busy lifestyle. You have a sedentary lifestyle, but still, at the end of the day, you feel totally drained of your energy. You get enough sleep, but still, that tiredness and that sleepiness is always there. You wake up feeling as tired as when you went to bed. After waking up, also like, sleeping for 8 hours, when you wake up, you're not feeling fresh and energized. You're not feeling rejuvenated. You still feel tired and fatigued, right? So these could be very powerful signs that your body's devoid or deficient in some nutrients. If you're constantly suffering from fatigue, sinusitis, you wake up and you have a stuffed nose, ulcers, mouth ulcers, very common, or any severe, any chronic disease, you're probably not getting what your body needs from the diet, or probably your body needs detoxification. You have accumulated toxins or toxic end products in the body, and they need to be flushed out of your system. They are blocking the flow of energy in the body. So these are some of the signs your body will give you, that you need something more. Your body needs more nourishment than the usual roti, dal, right, sabzi kind of thing, right? So now let's go on to discover the superfoods. As I said, not all, some superfoods I have listed over here. Let's see how much ever we can cover in today's session. We will go ahead. So first, the superfood that we are covering today is wheatgrass. I'm sure those of us who are health conscious or have taken some cleanse program, some detoxification program, or some health program somewhere must have definitely come across this. So what is wheatgrass? Wheatgrass, basically, as the name suggests, it is young grass from the wheat plant, and it is harvested before the plant produces grains. Scientifically, it is called as Triticum aestiva. This is the wheatgrass scientific name. Now, what are the new? I think
1 second.
mics are
Hello.
open.
Yeah, please unmute yourself, everybody. Praveen ji, you can just click on the participants and unmute everybody.
All right.
Mute everybody. You can do that. Mute all. When you click on the participants, you'll be able to mute all.
Okay. So when I click on the participant, it is not showing me mute all. It is just showing me.
At the end, you will see, is there an option mute all?
Actually, Pranay is the host. So Pranay has to
probably.
continuously mute those people. Because Parveen is actually giving the presentation. So let
Yeah,
Pranay
so
please do
I'm
the
not getting
needful.
that option.
He can't do it and speak. Pranay, please get active and start muting everyone. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So without disturbances, the presentation would be more beneficial to everyone. We all can see and hear things clearly without wasting any time. So we were talking about wheatgrass. So the other day we were discussing about moringa. This is kind of similar to that. As I said, the scientific name is mentioned over here. Uh, it is young grass from the wheat plant. It is available readily in the market in the form of dried powder, or you also have the wheatgrass capsules available. Now, what makes a wheatgrass a functional food or a superfood? What are the nutrient highlights? So the vibrant green color of the wheatgrass that you see is because of the plant pigment chlorophyll. The rich green color is because of the plant pigment chlorophyll. It is a very good source of chlorophyll here, and very good source of the vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. It also gives you minerals like iron, calcium, magnesium, and potassium, and a host of other nutrients. And not only that, it gives you live plant enzymes. So these enzymes basically do the job of digestion and metabolism in the body. So you get them in the live state over here. You also get essential amino acids. So essential amino acids, as we all know, are basically amino acids are the building block of proteins, and proteins are required. They are like a macronutrient. They are required in our diet every day to do the wear and tear and do the tissue buildup in the body. Now proteins are made up of amino acids. Some of them are essential, some are non-essential. Essential amino acids make the protein complete, right? So now here you're seeing essential amino acids present in wheatgrass, and it also gives you, please mute everyone, antioxidants like flavonoids and phenolic compounds. So these are all the superfoods, these are all the super nutrients that are present in very good quantities in wheatgrass, right? The plant pigment makes it, the presence of chlorophyll makes it a very potent detoxifier in the body. So it functions, the superpowers of this superfood wheatgrass is that it works like an antioxidant. Okay, antioxidant, like those of us who have basic knowledge of science, we know that oxidation is a process which causes, major, that is the beginning of any chronic disease taking place in the body. So you need antioxidants, to arrest those oxidation reactions in the body. So wheatgrass works as an antioxidant. It is a very strong antibacterial agent and anti-inflammatory property. Again, inflammation is the seed of any chronic disease taking place, whether it is diabetes or heart disease or something as severe as cancer. It all starts with inflammation. And as I said in the beginning, it works as a potent detoxifier because of the rich plant pigment chlorophyll. It works like a good detoxifier in the body. So over a period of time, because of the life and the lifestyle and the kind of foods that we are consuming on a day-to-day basis, our body tends to accumulate toxic end products which need to be flushed out of the system. So the best way to detoxify our body would be to go on a fasting, intermittent fasting or some sort of fasting that we undertake. Our bodies are naturally designed in such a way that liver does the detoxification very well. But there are certain foods like wheatgrass and moringa. These are the foods which support the detoxification function of the liver, right? So if these are included in our diet, this will definitely help us detoxify and basically re-energize the body and give us the plant enzymes in its live form. Here, if you see the note, it says cooking may destroy its enzymes and always use it in the raw form. Okay, because these enzymes are very, very heat sensitive. So if you subject it to cooking, then you destroy, right? So there are multiple ways of using wheatgrass. The best way is to consume it in the liquid form. There are, as I said, they are also available in the tablet form. But the absorbability wise, if you see, anything which is taken in the liquid form is easily absorbed by the body, right? So the best way would be to take it in the powder form, and just about the dosage would be about 1 teaspoon. Start with half a teaspoon, and then you can gradually go up to 1 teaspoon. So have anywhere between 3 to 5 grams is the daily dose. That much to be taken in a glass of warm water. It could be warm water, it could be plain tap water, and the freshly squeezed lemon, to enhance the absorption of iron and the other important nutrients in the body. So this taken in the form of a shot or in the form of a concoction first thing in the morning, or nearly empty stomach. It says either an empty stomach or nearly empty stomach. So if not early morning, then mid morning or mid evening, any time of the day, if you consume this works like a good toxifier, and it kind of helps in aiding digestion, and works like an anti-inflammatory and antibacterial agent in the body. Now here, wheatgrass is easily available, as I said, in the powder form and in the tablet form. There are people who also grow wheatgrass, right? So if you are like, if you enjoy doing gardening, and if you want to, you can also go ahead and grow your own wheatgrass. But then there are certain, certain specifications there in terms of getting the best of the nutrients available in wheatgrass. So they say that when the grass is 7 days old, you have to harvest it. Then the very young grass, at the seventh day of the growth, you have to harvest it, and then the fresh grass, then you have to kind of clean it and make juice out of it. So if you enjoy doing all of that, you can probably go ahead and grow your own wheatgrass, or it is readily available. So this would be one very potent. So your wheatgrass and your moringa that we were discussed, our next superfood over here is moringa. So let's cover moringa, and then we will see what are the most common indications wherein you can make use of wheatgrass and moringa. So moringa, like most of us discussed the other day, and I think most of us know many things about moringa. The scientific name over here is Moringa oleifera. It is again now very rich in antioxidants. Moringa is a plant whose seeds, pods, leaves, all are edible, right? So when we are talking about the superfood properties of moringa, we are specifically referring to the moringa leaves. Okay, we are not referring to the seeds or the pods. We are referring to the moringa leaves. They are highly nutritious over here. Again, now they are complete in all the essential amino acids. Okay, they also provide you vitamin A and C, and calcium, potassium, and iron. Okay, for any iron substance, you need good vitamin C for its absorption. So it will be a good idea to always consume these concoctions with freshly squeezed lemon, freshly squeezed lemon. The bioactive compounds over here in moringa are the chemical compounds called as quercetin, chlorogenic acid, beta carotene. These are some technical terms. You don't have to go into it. But then every food, what gives it the special characteristics is the presence of some bioactive components, and it is always good to know them. So in now here, what gives moringa the superpower? It is these compounds that are giving the superpower to moringa. It also has phytochemicals. Phyto means plants. So plant chemicals like glucosinolates and isothiocyanates. These are some chemical terms again. Now these are very potent and they possess anti-cancer properties, right? So, okay, something very important over here for us to understand is that these things do not work in isolation. They have to be a part of your balanced food intake, balanced nutrition intake, and a healthy lifestyle. So these, when you couple your balanced food intake and a healthy lifestyle along with superfoods and some good supplements, then you get the best results from it. Okay, so you cannot, not pay attention to the food, overall food intake. You cannot not pay attention to your physical activity, your hydration status, your sleep, your emotional health, etc., and just depend on these foods for you to derive the benefits. No, it doesn't work that way. It always works in conjunction with the other things that we mentioned, right? It also gives you sterols like beta cetosterol, right? Beta cetosterol, if you know about nutritional supplement, it is a very powerful nutritional supplement, very popular nutritional supplement, which is given to patients with very deranged lipid profile. So if you have high cholesterol, anybody in your family has high cholesterol, you probably will see doctor putting them on atorvastatin or some lipid lowering medicine. Now these are your natural lipid lowering foods. Okay, so they contain the bioactive components called as beta cetosterols, which have cholesterol lowering properties, right? Now, moringa also offers you benefits of reducing the blood sugar levels, right? So you have, all of these superpowers present in moringa. It also has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, and it may protect again against arsenic toxicity. So again, this is a very important superpower of moringa. As we said, moringa leaves, when all these beneficial effects are from the leaves and not from the seeds or the pods. And the other things, like if you're looking for these properties in the seeds or the pods, no, they are lacking it. It is the leaves which are, having all of these properties. So when we buy the moringa, we are actually buying the moringa leaf powder. All right. And the other things we discussed the other day, like, what are the different recipes and how best we can include it. Also, we need to understand, see, when all of these bioactive compounds, you do lose a lot of them during processing and cooking, right? So there are nutrient losses during cooking. Now, when you are looking at medicinal effect of these things, it will be a good idea to take the concentrated sources in addition to using them in your day-to-day cookery. All right. So, your day-to-day cooking will definitely confer you some benefits, but then taking into account the nutrient losses during processing and cooking, it will be a good idea to supplement with the commercially available moringa capsule or in the form of a powder. As I said earlier also, with wheatgrass, that powders are always better because, when you reconstitute it in water, the absorption is better as compared to taking a capsule or a tablet form of it. Now, what are the indications in which you would want to use wheatgrass and moringa? Definitely, as we said, supplementation. When you're looking at supplementation, so when we do our blood test, when we do our health checkup, when we do a CBC test, and we see that our hemoglobin is less, or packed cell volume, which is indicated by PCV, or MCV, the mean corpuscular volume. When we see, all of these things are lesser, showing lesser, which means we have a deranged hemogram, and we are looking at increasing or improving our hemoglobin. So, that could be, your indication to incorporate wheatgrass and moringa in your diet. Supplementation, antioxidant support, when you're on long-term medication, taking medicine for diabetes, for hypertension, for cholesterol, then definitely you would want some supportive thing to prevent the oxidation reactions in the body. And this can come as an antioxidant support. Detoxification, all those signs that we discussed in the beginning of the presentation, that you're feeling tired even after, getting 8 hours sleep, you still, wake up feeling tired and fatigued and sleepy and drowsy all the time, frequent attacks of sinusitis and all. That means, the body needs some sort of detoxification, and then it can be taken to improve the digestive health. Digestive health is not good. Burping constantly, gastricness, bloating, irregular bowel habits. So somewhere, the food is not getting digested properly. It is not getting metabolized and absorbed. The nutrients are not getting absorbed well and assimilated well. Something needs to be done about the digestive health. So in addition to the balanced lifestyle, diet and lifestyle and other things, this can be incorporated to improve the digestive health, to boost your energy, right? Energy boost will definitely, be the first, what do you say, the effect of it when you start taking it. Out of experience, I'm saying that, this is because if your hemoglobin is low and, you start taking wheatgrass or moringa, it improves, you feel low on energy because if your hemoglobin is low, the main function of hemoglobin is basically to transport oxygen to every cell of the body. And when your hemoglobin is low, oxygen, your cells are being deprived of oxygen. And when you supply the nutrients which improve your hemoglobin, then your oxygen transport to every cell of the body increases, and eventually then that leads to energy boost, right? So your energy levels are increased then. And immune support, obviously, when it is conferring the antioxidant benefit, it is preventing the stress related oxidation reactions in the body. It will definitely enhance your immunity, and definitely good for your skin and health, because when it is detoxifying the body, it will improve the skin and health. So if you're looking at improving any of these things, these are the indications that we can look at incorporating wheatgrass and moringa in addition to a balanced diet and a healthy lifestyle. Covering our greens now, we come to something called as microgreens. Again, now this is something, if you're health conscious, you must have heard of it, you must have seen it or read about it. They are tiny, but as they say, they are mighty greens. They are like chota packet, bada dhamaka kinds. So now, what are microgreens? So these are basically the cotyledons. When the same vegetables, like the kale or the methi or wheatgrass, when they grow and become a full plant. So these are microgreens are the early stages of the same plant, right? So your methi, it is not grown fully. Your kale, your broccoli, it is not grown fully. It is the early stage only. The early stage as in the first 7 to 10 days, the cotyledons stage. So now here there are established scientific studies, that have shown that microgreens have 40 times higher level of nutrients than the same mature greens, right? 40 times, which is like way high. So, that is the density of the nutrients present in microgreens. Like, for example, now here, cabbage. Okay. So cabbage, we consume cabbage, we can consume broccoli, all the cruciferous vegetables we normally consume. But if you're talking about cabbage microgreens, in the microgreen form, it has 40 times higher vitamin E and 6 times higher vitamin C, right? Another example is that of coriander, our day-to-day feature. So coriander is a great source of beta carotene, green vegetable beta carotene. It is a precursor of your vitamin A. But the microgreen version of your coriander has 3 times of the nature's beta carotene levels, right? That is the nutrient density. So it gives us all the reasons to incorporate microgreens in the diet. Now here again, they are readily available. The seeds are available. And if you enjoy gardening, you can very well, this becomes a very, very good stress buster activity if you kind of, do this routinely, right? And they are not very difficult to grow. You get the ready cocoa peats and you get the seeds, and they don't require very, the sunlight. They can be managed with minimal, you don't have to water them every day. So very easily they can be grown. They have very high polyphenols levels. These are all plant compounds, phenolic compounds and antioxidant compounds. All of these compounds basically prevent our body from something called as oxidative stress, right? So these chemical reactions, oxidation reactions, these are the reactions which kind of cause damage in, heart disease. Let's say, for example, heart disease. So our arteries, when they are subjected to chronic, oxidation reaction, they develop, they're kind of more prone to developing heart disease, later when the oxidation is not arrested at the right time. So polyphenol compounds and your plant compounds, these all help antioxidant properties. They help to arrest those oxidation reactions in the body. So the body, antioxidants keep the body fighting fit against free radicals that cause some of the most harmful chronic diseases. Free radicals are nothing but the harmful substances which are kind of taking part in the stress response of the body. With the above, it's obvious that microgreens will improve health and help prevent chronic diseases. So the 3 greens that we cover over here today is our microgreen, your wheatgrass, moringa, and microgreens of different plants. Okay, so we can have methi microgreens, we can have broccoli microgreens, we can have kale microgreens, we can have cabbage, coriander, you name it, and we have the seeds available, right? So either we can buy ready or we can grow. It is always easy and cheap to grow our own microgreens and use them, right? How to use them? You have to harvest them in the early stages only, when they are still, very delicate. The cotyledons are just 7 days or 8 days or maximum 10 days old. You need to harvest it, wash it with running water, make it free of soil and all the soil deposits, and use it either in your, vegetables or in your salads as toppings, in your soups, in your curries. Use them in the topping. Retain the plant enzymes. You can also slightly saute them if you want, but do not subject them to very high level of cooking, a very high temperature cooking, because you want to retain the live plant enzymes. That is the whole idea that you were going in for microgreens in the first place. So those were our greens.
Just 1 second, Praveen. Just 1 second. Asha's iPhone, Ranjan, Sonlata, and Sunita Bansal. Can you hear me? Please mute yourself and respect the speaker. Ranjan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Please mute yourself. Sonlata, Sunita Bansal, and Asha iPhone. Yes. Please mute yourself because there's a lot of disturbance and we cannot hear. Asha's iPhone, please mute yourself. Thank you. You can go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so we were talking about microgreens. So far we have covered wheatgrass, moringa, and microgreens. So all these 3, if you're looking at improving, as I said, firstly, detoxifying the body. If you're looking at detoxification of the body, we are looking at aiding the digestive process and the metabolic process. We are looking at addressing our fatigue and low energy levels. We are looking at boosting the energy levels and boosting the metabolism. And clinically, if you're looking at improving your hemogram, these are the 3 greens to go for: your wheatgrass, moringa, and microgreens. Of course, you will have the other health benefits also, but then specifically for these that we said. Okay, now coming to the next category. Now, what I've taken next is cold pressed or wood pressed coconut oil. right? So oil is always a topic of controversy, you know, which oil is the best and which one should be used. That has always been a, you know, a topic of interest and topic of controversy. Uh, Oil, actually, we will not be discussing much in detail. If everybody's interested, we can do another entire session on oil, because we need to go in, you know, there are many aspects that we need to cover in oil. To cut it short and just to, you know, kind of summarize everything and put it shortly, we cannot, you know, when we say the when the question comes as to what is the best cooking oil, so we cannot name one particular cooking oil and we can say this is the best cooking oil, right? Now, why is that so? Because see, oil is basically what? It is fat. Fats are made up of fatty acids. Now, fatty acids, chemically, there are different fatty acids. You have PUFA, which is the polyunsaturated fatty acid. You have MUFA, which is the monounsaturated fatty acid. And you have SFA, which is a saturated fatty acid, right? You've also, you know, you must have also heard of omega-3 and the omega-6 fatty acids, right? So there are all of these, you know, all of these fatty acids together make up the oil. Now our body needs all of these fatty acids in different proportions. So we cannot name any one oil which will have the benefits of all of this, right? So you have some oils like say sunflower oil or safflower oil, they're all PUFA rich oils. Okay. Then there are some oils like you have groundnut oil, they are MUFA rich oils. Okay, monounsaturated fatty rich oil. Then you have some oils which are high in saturated fatty acid, like you have coconut oil, which is high in saturated fatty acid. So the best answer to this question would be that you have to rotate between the PUFA, MUFA rich oils. You need to rotate between the oils. So let's say um, this month I decide to use the PUFA rich oil, so sunflower oil or safflower oil. Next month I go for MUFA rich oil. All right. Or you can either rotate monthly, or you can rotate it recipe wise. You know, there are people who prefer to stock different types of oil at the same time. So I will have coconut oil, I will have ghee, and I will have peanut oil, and I have mustard oil for different types of cooking medium in my house. And depending upon what I want to do, I will use that oil. So let's say for my paratha, I will use A2 ghee, okay, or the cow ghee. And for my sabzi, I will use coconut oil. For my fish, I will use mustard oil. And for my other, you know, non-veg gravy, I will use peanut oil. So, you know, sounds little weird to do it, but then that is the best possible way, which will ensure that you get all the benefits of the different fatty acids, which are, you know, which are supposed to be coming in from oil. So that was the first question and the answer as to which is the best cooking oil. Now, secondly, more than the, now these were the types of the cooking oil. Now the method of processing also is very, very important. The oils that are available in the market, irrespective of the brand, you have them in three categories. Either they are refined or double refined, or they are filtered or double filtered, or they are cold pressed or wood pressed, right? So now refined oil means refined or the double refining. Mostly chemical refiners are used. Chemicals are employed in refining the oils. The oil is heated at very, very high temperature, which results in destroying most of the nutritive fatty acids in the oil, right? So chemically refined oils and chemically double refined oils are not something which are going to be healthy. Okay, because at the very high temperature which is employed in refining the oil and the chemicals that are used, at the end of the entire process, what you get is just the liquid without any nutritive benefits attached to it, right? So chemically refined oils are a strict no-no. Then comes the filtered oil. Okay, filtered oil or the physically refined oil. So physically refined oils do retain some of the fatty acids and also the filtered oils. Right now, here chemical refiners are not used. High temperature is not employed. Physically, the oil is refined, so they are better. So filtered or the double filtered oil would be better. Then the cold press or the wood pressed oil. This is by far the most, what do you say, beneficial method of extracting oil, because here now the traditional or the conventional method is used to extract the oil, and here the oil retains maximum nutritive value. It retains all the nutritive fatty acids that are there. So the oil that you get at the end of wood pressing or cold pressing is full of aroma. You get the good flavor. If it is from coconut oil, you get the coconutty flavor. If it is from the peanut oil, you get the nutty flavor is retained. Chemically, it is intact in all the nutritive fatty acids. and it is free from all the chemicals, that were otherwise used in the chemical refining or the other methods of processing. All right. So if you are really concerned, and this was again discussed on on our group, that these things do not, they come at a very high price, right? So you may have to spend a good amount of money in you stocking cold press or wood pressed oil in your day-to-day cooking, but this would be an investment, in the long term. It is, you have to kind of decide whether you want to, invest in health now, or you want to invest, you spend the same money in buying medicine later on, right? Best way would be to minimize the consumption, use lesser but use of good quality, right? See, WHO recommends that we use, any adult has to use anywhere, but fat calories should not be more than 25% of the total calories that I consume. So if I'm consuming about 1600 calories or 1700 calories or whatever is the calorie requirement for my height, weight, and my age, not more than 25% of the total calories should come in from fat, right? Now, from that fat, somebody is asking, Vinita Binjani, can we take the question at the end? Are you wanting to ask something? We'll take the questions at the end because we have another probably 20 minutes to go before we take the question answers, and we have more slides to come in, right? So I was telling you that uh, the amount of any oil that we have to use, WHO recommends not more than 25% of the total calories coming in from the fat calories, and daily, if we have to break it down, then it comes to not more than 3 to 4 teaspoons of oil per person per day. That is the amount, right? So if you calculate it for a month, it comes to about half liter to 3/4 liter of oil only per person per month, right? So for example, if I'm a family of 4 members, then going by the WHO recommendation, I should not use more than 2.5 to 3 liters of oil for the entire month. That is also the upper limit of the oil intake, right? So our tendency is normally to buy in bulk. When we go to supermarkets, we buy the 5 liter or the 10 liter, or if you have a bigger family, then 15 liter can. So we are using more quantity. So now here, what we are recommending is use the best quality, but use in lesser quantity, right? So you'll benefit, you'll gain more benefits from there, right? The benefits of cold pressed coconut oil. So here we are specifically taking coconut oil. I have specifically taken coconut oil over here of all the other oils. Now, why is that so? So we will see the benefits of coconut oil. Wood. When it is cold press or wood press, it means it is minimally processed, right? It is not processed at very high degrees. The temperature is always maintained below 49 degrees C. So at this temperature, because high temperature is not employed, you preserve all the nutrients, you preserve all the fatty acids, right? So you have good fatty acids. You must have heard of lauric acid, right? Which are very good. I have mentioned it here at the bottom of the slide, lauric acid benefits, right? So coconut oil is very, very high in that fatty acid. And if it is heated at high temperature, if you're buying coconut oil, which is chemically refined, or, it is, refined using very high temperatures, then you're destroying all the lauric acid. So what you get is, minus the benefit of the lauric acid. Coconut oil has a high smoke point, right? Which means our Indian cookery normally uses high temperature cooking, So we are used to giving tadka and bagar and all of that, which is high temperature cooking. So your oil has to withstand that high temperature, and it has to have high smoke point. So for our Indian type of cooking, coconut oil has high smoke point of 177 degrees C. Coconut oil's fatty acids are the medium chain fatty acids, right? Medium chain triglycerides, we call it, a medium chain fatty acids. So now, because they are medium chain, chemical structure of the fatty acids such that they are medium chain, so it is very easily digested and metabolized by the liver, and instantly it is supplied to the brain for the energy purpose. It also contains polyphenols, which work as antioxidants in the body. It is good for heart health. Now here, when we talk about heart health, we need to understand that coconut oil is saturated fat. Although it has medium chain fatty acids, it is still a saturated fat at the end of the day. So although it is recommended in moderate amounts only, not more than 1 teaspoons per day per person. All right. So your total allowance of oil, which is about 4 teaspoons every day, not more than 1 teaspoon of your coconut oil. Right. Your remaining oil can be either ghee, or it can be your peanut oil or sesame seed oil or any other cooking oil that you want to take. It gives you definitely the skin and hair care benefits. Lauric acid, I was telling you, that is the most potent bioactive component of the coconut oil. It possesses very strong antimicrobial properties. It inhibits the growth of bacteria and fungi. So if you're looking at antibacterial effect, then coconut oil, for cooking would be the best medium. Easier to digest as compared to long chain fatty acids. So whichever other oils that we are using, they all have long chain fatty acids, but then coconut oil has medium chain fatty acids, and that is why it becomes a rapid source of energy for the brain. And then because it becomes a rapid source of energy for the brain, it helps athletes and sports persons, right? So if you are into any kind of sports activity, or your children are taking part there, this becomes a rapid source of energy for them, right? Because the presence of the MCT. So that this gives us all the reasons to incorporate wood pressed oil or cold pressed oil, coconut oil specifically. And this also, there are research studies which kind of prove the beneficial effects of cold pressed coconut oil in treating thyroidism, right? If you have hypothyroid, or any ailment related to thyroid, it improves your thyroid health, but it has to be taken in that moderate amount, only 1 teaspoon, in addition to your balanced diet and active lifestyle, right? Also in improving your heart health, the health of your skin, the hair issues, eczema issues, psoriasis issues. If you have any of these things, then this comes as your superfood or the functional food to be taken in moderate amounts, right? Moving on next, we come to seeds now, right? So I've taken pumpkin seeds over here. Now, again, seeds, when we say, we have plenty of seeds available. We have chia seeds, watermelon seeds, muskmelon seeds, then you have flax seeds, you have sesame seeds, and then you have pumpkin seeds, right? So each seed has its own unique nutritional profile, and it has a unique, benefit to offer. Here I've taken pumpkin seeds because earlier when we spoke about coconut oil in terms of it improving the thyroid health, again, now pumpkin seeds, if you have thyroid, I have taken thyroid because what we see, like, observation, diabetes, thyroid, PCOS are all very rampant, very, very rampant, especially in today's days and times. So if you are suffering from hyperthyroidism, then pumpkin seeds come to your rescue, right? They are a very good source of, again, unsaturated fats. They have something called as ALA, the alpha linolenic acid. And again, now there is very good scientific evidence that eating pumpkin seeds as part of a balance, again, this thing is coming again and again, that these things will not work in isolation. They have to be a part of your balanced diet, right? So if they contain, if you are taking them in addition to your balanced diet, it may be very well providing protection against heart diseases, any kind of cardiovascular diseases, and your thyroid health. There's a certain way and certain dose of taking it. You can't, everything has to be taken in moderation. So we say pumpkin seeds about 1 tablespoon only, not more than that. And if you're taking other seeds, let's say chia seeds or flax seeds, then the total intake has to be 1 tablespoon, right? So let's say I would take 1 teaspoon of chia seeds, 1 teaspoon of flax seeds, and 1 teaspoon of pumpkin seeds. If I'm not taking the other two, then I can go up to 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds. The best way of taking them would be to soak them and discard the water in which it was soaked, so that you get rid of all the anti-nutritional factors that were present in them, right? So your cold pressed coconut oil and your pumpkin seeds will work towards improving your thyroid health and heart health. Next, we come to Brazil nuts. We've moved on from seeds. We come to nuts now. Now, again, now in nuts, you have almonds and you have walnuts, you have pistachio, you have cashew nuts, and so on and so forth, each having its own unique nutritional benefit. Brazil nuts, this is how they look, and they're an excellent source of selenium, the micronutrient selenium. Since we spoke about improving thyroid health and heart health, selenium is our nutrient of importance. Just 2 Brazil nuts every day. Soak them in water. That this is something that we need to follow for all the nuts. Soak them and discard the water in which it was soaked, so that you get rid of all the anti-nutritional factors. You retain the peel, like wherever possible. In case of almonds, retain the peel. Do not peel it off. Retain the peel, because the peel also has certain nutritional properties in it. Discard the water, chew them, it improves the it improves the chewing, it makes the nutrients available more easily, right? So your Brazil nuts would be the next superfood for you. This is something which is not, we are not very familiar. We are familiar with almonds and walnuts and our cashews and other things, but Brazil nuts, unless and until someone has recommended, or you have really read up and you have, gotten yourself that knowledge, you wouldn't really know that this thing can give you, just 2 Brazil nuts taken every day can give you selenium. Your daily requirement of selenium can come from 2 Brazil nuts alone. And if you're taking thyroid medicine, your thyronorm, or your whatever thyroid medicine you're taking, in addition to a balanced diet and lifestyle, this will definitely improve your overall health of your thyroid gland, and overall your immune function, right? So this is about Brazil nuts. We move on next now. Okay, so now this is the next superfood. Again now, I don't think this is very, very commonly known. Kefir, right? This is called as kefir. Now, the Yakult drink that we all are, familiar with. So you can say somewhat, on the similar lines. Yakult is your nothing but a probiotic drink. It's a fermented drink. So again, now your kefir is nothing but bacterial, they are colonies of bacteria and yeast. These granules, this is how they exactly look. Okay, these are the colonies of bacteria and yeast, and they are readily available, right? There are certain sites, if you're interested, probably we can talk about it on the chat group. And, I can share resources and I can share sites from where these can be procured. It's a fermented drink, as I said. The word kefir is derived from a Turkish word called as keyif, which means feeling good. As I said, these are grain-like colonies of yeast and lactic acid bacteria. Now, any fermentation, we know it produces good bacteria. They work like what? Probiotics for our body. Now, we get probiotic from our simple and humble curd and buttermilk also, which we normally consume every day. So why should we, why do we need to go in for kefir? Here, if you see, kefir may contain up to 61 different microorganisms, making it much more potent source of probiotics than many other fermented dairy products. Okay, so I am making sure I take my idli, dosa, sambar, all of the fermented things. I also am making sure that I'm taking my dahi and chas. So I am including, probiotic foods in my diet, but they are giving me certain limited amounts of probiotic bacteria only. Whereas kefir can give me as many as 61 different types of, beneficial bacteria for my gut flora. We all know, like, again now, as we said, for oil, we can do a separate session for oils. We can also do an entirely separate session for gut health, which is an emerging area of interest. Your gut health basically determines your overall health and immunity. When we are talking about building your immunity, developing resistance to diseases, improving your overall health, fighting any chronic diseases, be it diabetes, thyroid, heart diseases, cancer also. We are talking about everything. They say 80% of your immunity lies in the gut. Gut is called as your second brain. So that is why the health of the gut is so very important. And what improves the gut health? It is your prebiotic and the probiotic. So why not, include something in our diets on a regular basis, which gives us, such potent dose of microorganisms or the gut-friendly bacteria. Kefir contains the probiotic Lactobacillus kefirae and the carbohydrate kefiran, both of which protect against harmful bacteria. It can also improve bone health and reduce the risk of osteoporosis. Of all the other benefits that we get, this could be one very important benefit for women, especially in the age group of 35 and above, 40 and above. We are always prone to developing calcium deficiency. We do a blood test. We are always found to be having less of vitamin D. And we are always, once we attain menopause, we are in the perimenopause stage or premenopause stage, we are at a risk of developing osteoporosis if our diet has not been balanced, if our calcium intake has not been balanced, if we have abused our system with packaged and processed foods, and if we have not incorporated a good amount of probiotics in the diet. So if we have, had that kind of a lifestyle, then this kind of gives us all the more reasons to include kefir in the diet regularly. Now you may say that Yakult is available ready-made. Why not just go and I do not want to use the brand name also. Any ready, probiotic drink that is readily available. Why go in for buying kefir? So now here you need to understand. See, the buying kefir would be one-time investment. You buy it once and you can, it comes with the entire detailed instruction manual, which says you can preserve it for the lifetime. It is only one-time purchase, and if they are preserved well, if you are kind of using it well and culturing it very well, then you can preserve it for the lifetime. It is beneficial for everybody in the family. And the best part is you can make your own sugar-free kefir drink. Whatever is available in the market, 90% of the drinks are all loaded with sugar, right? Although you get some benefit, you are unnecessarily adding in the sugar, from those products which are readily available in the market. So it is, always a good idea to invest in buying the kefir granules and making your own kefir drink at home. Now here there are water kefir granules and milk kefir granules, right? So you have, again, now we can, when we are discussing about gut health in detail, probably we can cover it in detail as to how you can culture and how you can prepare water kefir drink and how you can do milk kefir. So, whichever like suits your taste and, preference of everyone in the family, you can choose to buy. So like for instance, in my case, I prefer the milk based kefir granules. So I've taken the milk kefir granules and I prepare my dahi and chas from the milk based kefir granules, right? So this would be a very good functional food or superfood if you're looking at, preserving ourselves and our loved ones from, basically preventing from all the chronic diseases that are so rampant these days. Moving on next, I have taken raw cacao nibs or raw cacao powder. Now here again, now some chocolatey flavor coming in, something that benefits not only adults but also children. So now your kefir can go for children, your Brazil nuts can go for children, your pumpkin seeds can also go for children. Oil, obviously, when we are using for cooking, it can go for everyone in the family. Uh, Cocoa, so here I have written cacao nibs, right? So this is not a misspelling of cocoa. We are not saying cocoa over here. We are saying cacao. So there's a difference. These terms are normally used interchangeably. So you can, sometimes cocoa is referred to as cacao and cacao is cocoa. But then when we are saying cacao, we are specifically referring to the raw and unprocessed cocoa beans, right? So beans, the cocoa beans, when they are processed, they are cocoa. And the cocoa powder that you normally get in the market is from the processed beans. We are talking about retaining the entire nutrient rich, profile of
It
the cocoa
depends on this.
and we are talking about raw and unprocessed beans over here. This is how the nibs look. Okay, this is exactly how the raw
अच्छा
cacao
ऐसे
nibs
लग रहा था
look.
बारिश
And the
आएगी
same thing can be powdered and you get raw
इस
cacao
टाइम पर
powder.
लग रहा था
These
दो
are
ढाई
very,
बजे
very rich in antioxidants, flavonoids, and polyphenols, right? So again, they're very potent, what do you say, antioxidants for the body. They fight the oxidative damage in the body. Oxidative reactions can be fought with, incorporation of raw cacao nibs and raw cacao powder. They come in intense flavor, obviously, because they are processed. They are unprocessed and they are raw. So the flavor is very, very intense, and it is a very, very versatile ingredient. If you're someone who enjoys baking, baking just for fun or just for hobby, your mug cakes or something like your smoothie, or your children enjoy the hot chocolate milk. So why buy the chocolate, the sugar loaded commercially available supplements? Most of these supplements that are available in the market, they offer you very minimal, very little nutritional benefit. It is 80 to 90% of sugar, and sugar, and very little of the other things. Whereas if you buy this is sugar free and it gives you the same chocolate flavor and it gives you all of these benefits, the antioxidants, the flavonoids, and the polyphenols. And because it is a versatile ingredient, you can use it in your baking, your cookies, and your cupcakes, and whatever you want to try your hands on with, right? And definitely, because it is an antioxidant and it has the polyphenolic compounds, it offers protection to your heart, good for heart health, and it also has mood enhancing effects, something very, very good for our children and for us also. If you're looking at quick boost of some energy and some shot which kind of instantly energizes me and improves my mood, this is the product to go in for, right? So this would be, rather than you buying the expensive, the fancy looking supplements that are promoted as so-called healthy supplements for children. I think buying raw cacao nibs or raw cacao powder would be a better bet there, right? Moving on next, chia seeds. So we discussed pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds, in addition to pumpkin seeds, chia seeds. Chia is gaining popularity these days. This is exactly how they look. They are different from basil seeds. You have a mix of white and grayish and blackish looking seeds. They are, remember we spoke about PUFA and omega-3 fats when we discussed about cooking oils. So this would be your very good source of omega-3 fatty acids, right? Omega-3 acids, so the omega-3 fatty acids, we always hear it when we are talking about heart health or fighting inflammation in the body or fighting, skin ailments, psoriasis, eczema. We want to incorporate more omega-3 fatty acids in the diet. And this becomes your very easy way of incorporating, especially if you're a vegetarian. Like for non-vegetarian, you have fish and you have the other sources. But then if you're a vegetarian, this becomes, they come very, very handy. And again, they are very versatile. You can make chia pudding out of it. You can top it, on your smoothies, or you can, your breakfast cereal for your children. Just 1 teaspoon of chia, and chia seeds don't require soaking. Like unlike pumpkin seeds, we said soaking. Chia seeds, if it is better if you soak it, but they do not necessarily require soaking. So you can just, top it up on your cereals. You can also make overnight oats, and they become like very, very handy breakfast. When you have a rushed morning, you can just probably just soak, some oats and some berries and some chia overnight, and morning you have a healthy breakfast ready. They come with the goodness of fiber, protein, calcium, phosphorus, and zinc, right? So tiny seeds, but then full of your, nutrients that are so very required for all of us. Next is, so we have two more slides before we end this presentation. I'm rushing so that we can take we can take question answers. And if there are any queries related to all of these products that I have just discussed today, all of these superfoods or the functional foods that I have discussed, we always have the group, the WhatsApp chat group. You can always post your questions there, or or you can also DM me and I can answer those questions. Next on the list is ashwagandha root powder. So ashwagandha is again available in the capsule form also and in the powder form. We always prefer the powder form for the same thing that we said. The absorption is always better when you are reconstituting it in water and taking it in the form of a liquid. Ashwagandha root powder is important. All right. Now we do not want any other part of ashwagandha. We only want the root powder. It is the root of the ashwagandha plant which has all of these beneficial or the nutritional properties. It has stress relieving properties. It improves sleep and calms the mind. Right. Blood sugar lowering effects. Again, now it has bioactive compounds which help in lowering the blood sugar levels. Also, it improves the energy levels. It balances out the hormones very well, right? So again, that is a concern for women's health in the age group of 40 and above, that our hormones, once you attain menopause or your premenopausal stage, your hormones go haywire, and that kind of affects our sleep, that affects our, what do you say? It affects our overall health and our, insulin resistance, and all of those things come into picture then. So if you're taking ashwagandha root powder, as either reconstitute it in water, or you can also, like, I suggest to my clients to take 1 cup of warm milk at bedtime, add 1 teaspoon of ashwagandha powder, and no sugar. If you want little sweetness, probably half a teaspoon of honey or little organic jaggery powder you can add. So this taken at bedtime becomes a very good, what do you say, sleep tonic, you can say, because warm milk will give you the amino acid, the melatonin, and that kind of has an effect in improving your sleep. And then you have ashwagandha coming in, which is improving your sleep and calming your mind and relieving all the day's stress from your mind. So it is very well taken at bedtime. If not that way, you can always take it in water any time of the day. So basically, to balance out the hormones, to improve your sleep, and to calm down our tensed nerves, and to improve the heart health and overall health, ashwagandha root powder would be our next superfood to consider. Last and not the least, definitely not the least, I wanted something very, very powerful and potent to come as the last superfood category. So amla powder, again now, Indian gooseberry or amla. We have fresh amla available. We can always make use of amla, and we do. Like we combine it with wheatgrass, we combine it with moringa, we combine it with turmeric and ginger, and we make a amla shot, So that would be the best way of taking it. But then amla is not available around the year. So when it is available, when you have fresh things available, go in for fresh. Like moringa, when it is available in the season, go in for fresh. But when they are not available, you can go in for the commercially prepared concentrated powders. So amla powder, again now, we all know the benefits of amla: vitamin C rich, iron rich, and calcium rich. You need amla is a health treasure because it reduces cell damage and also the risk of cancer and inflammation. So very high in amla, so very high in vitamin C, that it fights the oxidation reactions in the body. All you need is just 3 to 5 grams of amla powder to be reconstituted with any of these things that we just discussed. It also contains chromium. Chromium is a very potent micronutrient when it comes to improving the sensitivity of insulin. insulin is a hormone which basically transports your sugar inside the cell. And when you have, when you tend to age and your body tends to accumulate more fat, this is the hormone which gets insensitive. So when we are looking at improving your insulin sensitivity, we are looking at keeping the blood sugars in check. Amla is, our superfood to go in for, right? Just about 3 to 5 grams mixed with either wheatgrass or with moringa, or just amla reconstituted in water, some freshly squeezed lemon to enhance the vitamin C of it. It can reduce the risk of major diseases as major as cancer, right? So amla powder can go in. It tastes little bitter, and you know the powder is little bitter. So you can add any of the natural sweeteners like your honey or organic jaggery powder can be added to mask the bitterness, and it can be used. So this was the last superfood in the category of the superfoods that I took. Uh, Healthy eating starts at home. Be a good role model, mom, and set the examples right? So we want our generations, so they say diseases run in the family, right? So when you go to a doctor, they take your family history and, mother ko diabetes tha kya, father ko heart disease tha kya. And if yes, then, probably you have gotten it in your genes and, you're more prone to developing it. So they say diseases run in the family. So a lot of it has to do with your genetics and genes, but then a lot of it also has to do with your lifestyle, right? Diseases run in the family because food habits run in the family. If you want to break that chain, then you have to change the diet, with the food intake pattern, the diet and the lifestyle today, so that you set the right example of the food habits that you nurture today will be carried forward in your generation, right? So again, repeating the same thing, all of these superfoods nature has blessed us with. There are very expensive medicines that are available for lowering cholesterol and for keeping once you develop diabetes, you develop hypertension, thyroid, cholesterol. There are months and months of treatment that you need to take before you can get rid of the disease, right? Whereas if you follow a holistic lifestyle, balanced nutrition, and a balanced lifestyle intake and supplement your food intake with these functional foods that the nature has blessed us with, you probably will not need the intervention of medicine. I'm not saying medicine. I'm not against medicine. Medicine are medicines are required when there is a need. In acute cases, you definitely need to take help of the medicine to keep the disease in control. But if you're looking at long-term benefits, if you're looking at addressing the diseases or addressing any problem at its root cause, if you're looking at preventing the diseases, if you do not want to land in that problem, then you need to make sure your food intake is balanced, your whole lifestyle is balanced, your physical activity, water intake, your sleep is adequate, your emotional health is good, and you're supplementing your food with good superfoods and the functional foods that are available. So, if you're taking care of all of these things, then we could be doing, what do you say, major, it would be a boon for our generations to come that we have set right examples for them. So this brings us to the end of the session. Thank you very much. Probably we can take questions now. Uh, we have 20 minutes and we can take question answers.
Thank you so much, firstly, for taking this up and educating us on the superfoods
Thank you.
voluntarily.
For a patient hearing. Thank
Looking
you.
forward for more sessions.
Yes, same here. I would love to come again and educate and discuss basically and share whatever little knowledge I have.
Yes.
I would love to come forward and share.
I have one question. Like for children, should we give the nuts for them to chew, or should we make it into a paste? Generally, I'm giving, like, I have a 6-year-old daughter. I'm giving her to eat, but is it like making it into a smoothie or something, churning? Is it better for them?
No, no. See, see, the nutrient profile will remain the same. Whether you give them whole nuts to chew or you make a powder or you make a paste, the nutrients will remain intact and it will remain the same. So it is like, how you prefer it, the ease of preparation and the kind of recipes that you're giving. So like, you can decide, like some days you can soak the nuts and, just give them to chew. Or you can also, dry roast and coarsely powder it and mix it with probably dates, jaggery, and things like that, and make a laddu. Some days you may decide to grind it in the form of a smoothie. So it is entirely your choice. It does not, making a powder or a paste will not change the nutritional profile of the seeds.
Okay.
All right. But
Okay.
soaking is essential. Like if you're giving
Soaking,
it,
yeah.
soaking is essential so that, you increase the absorbability and digestibility of the whole thing. And there's this practice of removing the peel of the almonds and then, taking it for eating. That is something that we discourage. Peels also do have some nutritional benefits, and it is a good idea to retain the peel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the difference in cocoa and cacao? What
Yeah,
is
so
the
as I
difference?
said, so these terms are used interchangeably. Cacao is sometimes known as cocoa, and cocoa is sometimes known as cacao also. But when we say cacao, it is specifically referring to the raw, unprocessed cocoa beans. So mostly the commercially available cocoa powder that we get is from processed cocoa beans. So when they are
Okay.
processed, when they are subject to processing, you're destroying most of the nutrients. But when they are raw and unprocessed, you're retaining the most nutrients in the maximum form, right? So you have to specifically go in, like, if you're buying from Amazon or from any e-commerce websites, you have to specifically, your prompt has to be cacao powder and not cocoa. Okay, it has to
Okay.
be
Yeah.
cacao.
Shall I ask a question now?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I just wanted to know, I found this having this wheatgrass juice and moringa leaf juice raw, uh, very pukey like
Yes.
sensation.
Uh-huh.
So what can I slightly boil them or something like that before having?
Yeah.
Will the nutritive
So,
value change too
all right.
much?
Yes, yes. So if you see, as we said, we are taking these vegetable concoctions mainly for the benefits of the live plant enzymes that they have, right? So live enzymes are the ones which will improve the digestion and the metabolism. So when you subject them to cooking, it will definitely destroy the live enzymes. Now here we need to understand that moringa, specifically wheatgrass, people do complain of headache. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Everybody's, your bio individuality basically. The reaction or the acceptance may be different for everybody. So some people do experience headache or pukey feeling after taking it. What you can do is start with half the dose that is recommended. So we say recommended dose is 1 teaspoon or 5 grams. You start with half the dose, 3 grams, or probably lesser, just 1/4 of the teaspoon, right? So you will not, your body will slowly adapt to it. Secondly, don't subject it to cooking, I would say. Mix it in your green smoothies. So probably you can take one beetroot and some, palak leaves, some coriander, little cucumber, little carrot, and, just wash them all thoroughly. Make sure they are like devoid of any soil particles. Don't cook them, retain the rawness, just peel them nicely and, put everything in your blender, make a smoothie, and to that smoothie then you can add 1/4 teaspoon of the wheatgrass or the moringa powder. Then it will mask the taste or the flavor of it, and the effect of it, you will not really feel the intensity of that side effect.
Thank you. Yeah.
Can I ask a question now?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so as you said, and that's a common practice that we soak the nuts and we discard water and then use it, either with their peel or without the peel. Is also roasting them thoroughly and grinding them into powder or incorporating them into sweets, is that recommended?
See, again, now it all depends on the kind of preparation that you want to make. Let's say if you want to make a dry fruit laddu or nuts and seeds laddu, then it requires you to dry roast it, or probably roast it in ghee and then powder it. So now here, uh, uh, we need to understand that these nuts are high in essential fatty acids. So you have omega-3 fatty acids and omega-6 fatty acids, right? So your almonds, let's say if they're giving you omega-6 fatty acids, then your walnuts are giving you omega-3 fatty acids. These fatty acids are very, very heat sensitive. Okay, they are heat labile, they are heat sensitive. So when you subject them to high temperature over a long period of time, if it is high temperature, short time, probably you will retain some of it. But if it is high temperature, long time, you would have destroyed all the beneficial omega-3 fatty acids at the end of the procedure, right? So you would want to retain it. So, the best idea would be to incorporate a variety in your diet. Don't stick to one practice only. Some days, as I just answered to Vasudhaji, that, some days you have soap, some days you can powder it, some days you can make a smoothie, some days you can make a dry fruit and nuts and seeds laddu. So, you have different, the nutrients coming in from the varied things that you mix in, and plus you're also ensuring that you're retaining the nutrients maximally.
Yeah, because what I do, I'll just let you know. So just guide me if I'm doing it the right thing. My son lives abroad, so I give him a mix of seeds, nuts, and chia seeds with the dried fruits to mix in his oats for breakfast. So is that advisable? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Because he can't
Very
manage to soak and peel.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it all, how we decide what preparation we want to make it,
All right.
seeing the practical application and the feasibility of doing things. Like, if a mom had to prepare a breakfast smoothie for her child who's, rushing to school or, going for some sports practice, then you would probably want to do it freshly in the morning, or at the most you would want to do overnight soaked, oats porridge or overnight soaked chia seeds and top it up with some nuts for someone who has to make these preparations and send it to someone who's living away, and you need to ensure that even if the child or whoever is away from home gets maximum nutrients, how will you ensure that they eat wholesome even when they're away from home? You ensure it by adding all of these things to the diet. So here you don't have a choice. Now here we cannot stick to that practice of soaking or making sure that it is freshly soaked, or that
Okay.
practice is not possible over here. So this would be
All
a good,
right.
like if this is a good practice that you're doing, making, drying it
Yeah.
and probably roasting it and making it into energy bar and sending it across.
No, I don't send his energy bars. He mixes it
Yeah.
with his oats porridge in the
Which
morning,
is
like
fine.
soaks it for
Yes,
half an
yes.
hour.
So it can be energy bars are also
Yeah.
that only, right? Energy
Yeah.
bars are
Yeah.
nothing but
Sure.
your nuts and seeds and your
Yeah.
cereals mixed with some
Yeah.
sweetener
Similar
added
to
to it. Yeah,
muesli.
exactly. It
And
is
also
similar
the
to that.
same mix we can put in like curd or yogurt and soak it for like couple of hours or
Yeah,
overnight and make a porridge, isn't it?
absolutely. Yes, yes, you
All
can.
right. Great.
Yes.
Another last question. I won't take much time. Like as you said for amla powder, suppose if I've soaked chia seeds overnight. In the morning, I add a teaspoon of amla powder in the soaked seeds and have it. Will it work like combining these two things together?
You can. There's a
All
very
right.
common practice of taking chia lemon water. So you can combine
All
all
right.
three. Okay, you can have the lemon wedges or lemon slices, chia and amla powder all in one, and you can take it. Okay.
So what about amla already has a great content of vitamin C. Do we
It
still
does
need
have.
to
No,
add
it is
vitamin
no,
C
you don't
from
need to.
lemon?
But as we said, no, you don't have to. You
All
don't need to.
right.
Nutritionally, you don't need to. But as we said, amla is it has a
A
little
bit
bitterness, So
bitterness,
to
just to
mask
change the
that,
flavor
yeah,
profile.
exactly. So some people like it
All
sour.
right.
If you like it sweet, then add some honey or
Sure.
jaggery, as we said.
All right. Thank you so much for your generous session.
Yes, Neeta Ganguly ji. Yes.
Yeah, wonderful session, Parveen, and really enjoyed. And you went into details explaining everything. There are two questions I have. Since each one of them is a superfood and they have so much of potential in it, but there's a concept of virudahar also.
Yes. Yes.
There are two. If they're
Yes.
too powerful, like positive and negative are if you bring them together, or your negative and negative you put them together, there is a reaction. So is that functional over here? What
Yes.
are the cautions we have to
Yeah.
believe in? Because I'm sure the pH is different. When the pH is
Yes.
different, we try to bring in two different types of pH, is going to cause some sort of a problem too. So if you
Yes.
can throw some light on that.
Sure. Sure.
And the
That's
second question was on your
hmm,
microgreens. A lot of
hmm.
people are now preparing microgreens without the soil. So is there a difference between the nutrient content preparing without soil and with soil? These
Okay.
are the two
Right.
questions.
So
Thank
your
you.
first question, thank you. Thank you, Neeta ji. Your first question, a very, very good question, actually, as you said, the concept of Virudh Ahar. Now, I covered, let's say, 12 to 13 functional foods and superfoods, and we discussed the beneficial effects of all of those in detail. Now, today, if you decide that I want to take all 10 of them, all 12 of them in my diet every day, I will make sure that I take them every day. How do you decide, whether you need to take what is your requirement is something that needs to be assessed, right? So that Virudhaha thing will definitely come into picture if you are taking, if I decide to take wheatgrass and moringa and amla, and then I'm taking microgreens also, I cannot, your body will digest, metabolize, and absorb one superfood at a time very well. If you're loading it with too many things, you are not doing a very good thing to the digestion and the absorption and metabolism part of it, right? So what is your requirement has to be assessed. And how do we assess that? We take into account your physical health and your clinical health, right? So when a client approaches me for a nutrition consult, there's before me handing over the nutrition therapy plan, the initial first three sessions are all about assessment, right? So we assess in detail your physical requirements firstly, for your height, for your weight, for your age, and for the kind of physical activity that you are in. What are the nutrient requirements? Then we assess your clinical health. What is your hemogram status like? What is your blood sugar levels like? What is your blood pressure levels like? Your thyroid and your, ovaries and reproductive health and all of those things. Based on the assessment, then we decide that, okay, we need to improve, let's say, for example, we need to improve the lipid profile, we need to improve hemoglobin, and we need to improve the energy levels. Let's say out of the assessment, these are the three things that we have identified. Now, for these three things, which would be the one or the two superfoods which will be beneficial for me, which I can give, right? So then we incorporate and then we plan it phase wise. We do not we do not dump your body with everything at one go. So we say, okay, 3-month program. Out of the 3-month program, in the first phase, we are looking at first 45 days. So in the first 45 days, the first 20 days, we are trying to correct your hemogram only, trying to correct your hemoglobin levels only. So in the first 20 to 30 days, I will give you only wheatgrass with amla powder or only moringa with amla powder. Okay. And then we continue, we work with that for the whatever days or the period we decide. And then moving on next, then we take your next health concern. Your next health concern probably is very low energy levels. So then your next health concern is poor sleep or very poor quality of sleep. So then I decide, okay, now I want to add ashwagandha root powder to it. Okay. So by then, if we see that, you have taken enough days on wheatgrass or moringa, we wean you off of that and we introduce the next superfood, right? So it is all dependent on your assessment and your body's requirement. We prioritize and we give you. Okay, so we cannot definitely include all the 10 to 12 food items for superfoods in our routine. We have to assess, we have to arrive at the need and prioritize. Even for that need, like my need is, let's say, hemoglobin improvement, insulin correction, and sleep improvement, for example. So now I need to prioritize out of the three. सबसे पहले मेरी नींद improve होनी है, so I will include ashwagandha first. Okay, after that, once I've started to sleep well, that is half the job done, because your sleep is repairing your body majorly. After that, then I want to correct my hemogram. I want to improve my energy levels by correcting my hemoglobin. So now I will incorporate wheatgrass or moringa in my routine. And then after that, I want to work on my insulin sensitivity long term. So then I will incorporate any of the superfoods that will work towards improving my insulin sensitivity. Right. So I hope I've answered that. So that is your first question answer. The next is microgreens grown in soil, microgreens grown in water, whether they will have the same nutrient profile or they will have different nutrient profile. So see now, there has to be established by research before me commenting onto it. We have not really come across any research which kind of says that one is better over the other. We also have the concept of hydroponic vegetables available these days, which are equally nutritious and more safer to consume as compared to, because of the problems, the fertility of the soil or the degradation of the soil or the problem of insecticides, pesticides, and all those issues. People say that hydroponically grown vegetables are better off as compared to the ones grown in soil. So in controlled conditions, this is my opinion, this is my understanding of the whole thing. As I said, it has to be scientifically established and commented upon. My understanding is, if you have a controlled environment wherein you're controlling the quality of the soil, you're making sure it is pesticide and insecticide free, you're making sure it is, the right quantity and the type of fertilizer is added, then I think the soil also will have the nutrients to be imparted into the microgreens. Whereas water will be devoid of those nutrients which would come in from soil. So this is my understanding of the thing. Okay. But if the environment, if the growing environment is not controlled, then I think, whether it is better to be on the safer side by growing it in water. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Can I ask you?
Yes, please go ahead.
I have a moringa tree, and recently I have diagnosed osteoporosis. How can I use this raw moringa leaves?
Raw moringa leaves, you mean to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're a part of our miracle enzyme group, I think there people shared recipes and all. If you are looking at recipes and how to incorporate it in our diet on a routine basis, probably you can DM me and I can share some recipes. All right. Raw leaves, firstly, you need to make sure they are washed thoroughly. Right. Secondly, you can add it to your vegetables, to your curries. You can add it to your, few leaves to your chutney and make a chutney, moringa leaves chutney out of it. Or, you can sun dry it and powder it. Now, again, here you have to be very, very careful. It should not retain any moisture. It has to be thoroughly sun dried. So if they are thoroughly sun dried, then you have to powder it and use it the way we have discussed, half a teaspoon, 3 to 5 grams is the dose. Reconstitute it in water, or it can go in your green smoothie, or it can go in your chutney, or it can go in your gravy, or it can go in your soups that you're making, or any curry that you're making, and use it. If you're adding it just in water and taking it in the form of a concoction, you're retaining the enzymes, but if the more you cook it, the more you destroy the nutritional benefits of it.
Okay, how can we means how can we preserve this moringa leaves?
Sun dry and powder.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yes, Preeti Venkateshwar.
Yes, good evening, Dwayne.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you for nice session.
Thank you for being a patient and a good audience. I can't hear you. You're cracking up.
My question is, you spoke about. Hello.
Preeti ji, I can't hear you.
My question is about
Ashwagandha.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
So can I have with water instead of milk?
I am not able to get what you're saying. Are you saying, just a minute, I am trying to see. Have you put it on the chat? I'm trying to read it from the chat. See, you can have ashwagandha either in milk. If you are looking at improving sleep, it is a good idea to take it in warm milk at bedtime, if that is your concern. If you're looking at balancing hormones, then you can take ashwagandha in water any time of the day. Okay? And if you're taking it in milk for improvement of sleep, it would go at bedtime in warm milk. Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, audible.
All right. Okay. So I hope I answered your question, Preeti ji.
Yes, I have to do that.
Hello. Can I ask one more question?
Yes. Ask Jayashree, go ahead, please.
Can you suggest any hair fall remedy for all of us?
Hair fall remedy. All right.
Yeah.
So your diet, see, firstly, hair, the health of your hair and the health of your skin is an inside out approach. Okay. You have to be healthy from within for you to have a shiny and a firm skin. And you also have to be very, very healthy from within for you to have shiny, lustrous hair. And the problem of hair fall also has to be addressed at that level only. So we spoke about gut health, right? We said that 80% of your body's immunity lies in your gut. Your focus should be on improving your gut health by incorporation of good prebiotics and probiotics in the diet. Prebiotics are food for bacteria. They are the fiber form of food. All right. So your guava, apple, apple cider vinegar with the mother culture, right? The salads, your the fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, fermented vegetables, right? These are all your prebiotics. They work as food for the probiotic bacteria. Probiotics you derive from fermented foods. Something as simple as yogurt. Yogurt taken with a small banana, or yogurt and raisins and yogurt mix. It becomes a good prebiotic and probiotic combination. or simply yogurt, unsweetened homemade yogurt or homemade dahi. Okay, yogurt, when I say, I don't really refer to the yogurt bought from market or store bought yogurt. We are not looking at that, because again it will have preservatives, so we have to go preservative free. So घर पे बनाया हुआ दही, छाछ, any fermented food items will be your probiotic. So make sure you are incorporating prebiotics and probiotics in your daily diet so that your gut health improves over a period of time. You need to make sure there is good amount of vitamin E, biotin, and other micronutrients in your diet, which you get from nuts and oil seeds. So nuts and oil seeds has to be a regular feature of your diet. Which oil seed would be good for you? You need to take a nutrition assessment. So now again, this is something I take this opportunity to make everyone aware. We always give importance to routine health checkup, right? We want to routinely, like once we touch 40, we want to do our health checkup annually. We want to consult our dentist annually. We want to do blood tests and heart tests and mammography and all of those things, USG, to check if everything is going correctly. I think it is high time we all realized that your nutrition plays a major role in deciding how healthy your life would be in the coming years to come. So it would be a good idea to have a nutrition consult even when you do not have any disease. In fact, you should have a nutrition consult when you do not have any health related issues, so that you know you're on the right track or not. So that you get yourself assessed by a qualified nutritionist who can assess your current health status and guide you as to what should be a balanced nutrition protocol for you and for your family, right? So we need to basically assess what your intake is, and based on that we have to give you recommendation. So I have to see what is your intake of omega-3 acids, what is your intake of omega-6 acid. If none of these things are present in your diet, then I would say, look, start taking chia seeds every day so that you start getting good protein and fiber in your diet, so that your gut health and overall muscle health and overall body health improves, so that that reflects on your skin health and your hair health, right? So I would say focus on your gut health. That should be your sole focus to improve the exterior, what do you say, a presentation of your body, right?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Geeta Ganguly says, I have connected with you earlier. Oh, have you? I don't remember. I'm sorry.
No, I think it was for me. I don't know.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
She wants to join the Miracle in Time.
Okay. I'm so sorry. All right.
Hello, excuse me. There's one
Yes.
question from my side.
Sure.
That the curds available, ready-made curds, you were just mentioning about the ready-made curds, right? So how are those different from the ones which we make? Because many of the containers, especially when you go outside India, it is mentioned it is a cultured one. And the taste, the texture, and the fragrance, everything is very different.
Different, right?
So that is completely synthetic or made out of some culture rather than seeding.
Yeah. So see, when we make curd at home, we can control the quality of the milk that we are taking, right? We also make sure that we are not adding any sweetener to it, and we are using culture from a good, a previous batch, and we're using that in a very controlled environment. And the end product that we get is, what do you say, nutritional curd that we get at the end of, the end product is good and nutritional. But when you buy the same thing, which is, prepared commercially, obviously it is prepared for a certain shelf life period, right? They want to sustain the product shelf life for a few weeks or a few days, a few months in some cases. So definitely there has to be addition of certain substances, so certain stabilizers, or probably, the texture enhancers. I'm not a food scientist, so I cannot really comment on that. But I'm sure my understanding says they have to add certain amounts of preservatives, and the culture may be the same what we are using. Okay, maybe a little concentrated one, because the body of the ready yogurt that you get is very firm, whereas at home what we set is not as firm. It is little loose and it leaves out a lot of water also, right? But then what you get outside is minimal water. It is more of, the body is very, very firm. So probably they add more amount of the seed, the culture is more, and, some stabilizers, some, texture improvers, and, something or the other is added. And obviously there are some preservatives in whatever quantity they may be allowed to use for, they have these specifications by the FDA as to each product has to have a certain amount of the preservative only. So whatever quantity of the preservative is allowed within that allowance, or sometimes even more, they add, and, they want to sustain that product for a certain period of time. So I would say, see, if you are given a choice, if you're outside and if you don't have any other choice, the situation at home is not favorable for you to set, and you have no other choice but to resort on the outside store-bought food, then you will learn the art of nutrition labeling. We have to, this is again something which we have to understand and learn. This is so very important. In fact, there's this whole campaign, I would say, which is, going on for including nutrition labeling for school children. At that age, you have to educate them, because they are so very attracted and fascinated towards picking up fancy wrappers and packages which are, racked in the supermarkets. They're also very attractive that our children, without reading anything, they just go and buy, and because they have substances which make them addictive, they want to buy it again and again. So this is something, nutrition labeling is something which is so very important, so very crucial, especially at that age. We need to understand. So in situations when we are forced to take outside products, we need to see the nutrition label and see each ingredient, how much of sugar it contains, how much of preservatives, class 1, class 2 preservatives, in what limit do they contain, and if they fall in the safe consumption category. If yes, then we can take it. Right? So outside product, unless and until they specify, we cannot really comment, as to what all goes into the final product that we get.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, doctor, for taking out so much time and, educating us all about this.
Thank
Very,
you.
very
Thank you
grateful.
very much. I think we've
I'm coming to you.
most welcome.
And I wanted next session, can we have on millets and milk, like the whole thing about veganism? I
Yeah,
really
sure.
get scared, like, should I give her milk or not? And
Sure. Yeah. So we can plan. So once in a month, see, I do these paid workshops also, and I do free workshops
yeah,
also. We
why
can
not?
decide. Yeah.
Yes, we can do paid workshop also.
Yes, sure. So,
Yes.
we can make a group of 20, 25 people, and we decide on one common topic. And
Correct.
even if it is a paid workshop, it is not, we're not taking very high fees or anything. It is just, for that registration. And then what we can do is, in a paid workshop, is whatever we've discussed, I can share those notes also. So you can, keep that
Correct.
with you for the, for future references also.
Yes,
So we can
that'll be
always,
great.
every month we can plan whether we want to discuss milk, we want to discuss millets. We can
Wow.
discuss it all in the light of, science and research, rather than just going by some influencer on Insta
Correct.
and Facebook and just randomly reading on Google. And
Correct.
forget Google, now we have ChatGPT. You put any question, it gives you the encyclopedia. But then you definitely need an expert to analyze and filter that information for you and present
Correct.
it in a concise form and something which is applicable for you. So yes, we can do that going forward. Yes, Bharti
Yes.
ji. Bharti ji has raised hand. Bharti ji, you want to say something?
A minute. Yeah. Yeah, what I also believe in is you need a scientific approach.
Yes.
Probably many of them will not like to immediately go on scientific, but when you look at it, you'll always realize that you miss so many aspects.
Absolutely.
By knowing something without any scientific approach and with scientific approach. There is always a difference.
There's always a difference. Absolutely. Very
and
correctly
we have got
said.
a very good group here in
Yes,
Miracle in
absolutely.
Time, where everybody wants to know everything
Right.
scientifically also.
Right.
So
Great.
that
So
will
that
definitely help. We
yes,
can
yes,
all,
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So we can discuss more on this. And if you want, I can share the, whatever presentation I have prepared for this. I can share that. For now, I have not prepared any notes, but the presentation, I can always share it with you all if you all want to keep it for future reference. And going forward, as we said, we can discuss it more on personal chats and on the group. And we can select a topic for every month and we can do these workshops, which will benefit, which will enlighten us, which will empower us with the right knowledge, which we can use for ourselves and for our families. And we are not fooled by the, media or the false advertisements and false campaigns.
Yeah,
so
to be
thank
frank,
you very much,
also,
everyone.
Yeah, to be frank, even in the 10th standard what do you call, state board books and all, we are having nutrients and all the deficiency diseases and due to overconsumption and other things. Even
Yes.
up till going up till even food wastage and food shortage and everything.
Yes, yes.
So all these are basically very connected and everything. And
Absolutely.
children, if they are taught
Yes.
properly in a
Yes, yes.
sequential way, it will definitely
Yes,
be there.
it will definitely help. It will definitely help. So you see the rise of diseases, chronic diseases,
Yeah.
teenagers developing heart diseases, which is so very, alarming. So there's something seriously going wrong in the way we have, set certain perceptions in our mind. We need to firstly unlearn and then learn, right? So a lot of misconceptions that we had, we need to kind of clear our mind of all of those, and we need to then acquire the right knowledge, which is
Yeah,
correct
yeah.
in the light of recent researches. So yes, we can, take it as a mission to empower everyone, mission to improve our health, mission to basically, just decide that we do not want to be fooled by the media and false campaigns, and we take our health in our own hands.
Yeah,
Amazing.
definitely we'll do that.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Hello, Bharti ji.
Hi. We'll be continuing. Basically, I was not keeping well, and what all you told just today, gut might have spoiled, and then I had some skin issues and this and that, and everything going on. So I kept on postponing my sessions.
Yes.
Basically, they are of course on waste management and other things. So that those also will continue.
Yes, yes. So this community, we will keep the spirit of this community alive and kicking, and we
Yes.
shall communicate, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you
for
so
being with
much.
us. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Bye.
Purnima ji. Thank you, Purnima ji, for the meeting ID. Thanks a lot.
Yes, where is she,
so much.
Purnima?
Yeah.
Is she there?
Thanks a lot. You were such a big help.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Purnima?
The meeting ID really helped.
Yeah, I
Parveen ma'am,
know.
get
If she's
link.
there or not, I don't know.
Probably, I think she has exited or
Yes.
something. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Thank you, everyone.